What's going on, everyone? Michael here. I'm not happy that I have to make this type of video, but I feel like that this is an extremely important thing to happen, that I do need to actually cover it and need to say something about this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put up a picture that has been circulating and that a story is out now. But if you look at the picture, it's going to show a long table filled with really high and popular hit cards from the Fusion Strike set. And so I'm going to kind of try to... this is a story that's been being talked about profusely right now on YouTube, and I feel like I should put my input because I feel like there's something that people aren't talking about when it comes to this whole situation. Now, again, as you see on the picture that I'm showing, is that there's a lot of alternate art, rainbows, really high value cards from the set, and they're calling it Fusion Gate. Now, I'm gonna give you a quick, just kind of wrap up of the story. Somebody somehow got a hold of a lot of these cards. I'm not sure how. I didn't look into that part. It's not important. But they tried to sell it to a store, an LGS store, and thankfully the LGS store reported it to Pokemon, and they were able to get the cards back that apparently they were stolen. So they were real cards, but they were stolen from Pokemon, and Pokemon was able to get back the cards. And, you know, for the most part, people aren't really too worried about this. And the main topic that people have been talking about have been the pull rates in the set. And as we know, the Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, like those kind of sets, the pull rates aren't great when it comes to the alternate arts. And people have been, for the most part, speculating on, does those cards not being in circulation affect the pull rates that we received? And for the most part, people are saying no. Pokemon is saying no, that they knew that the cards were stolen, and they printed more cards so that people could get the hits that they were to hit the ratios they were expected to hit. And for the most part, people aren't too concerned with this, but they're kind of worried about hits. And, you know, hit rates, yes, that's obviously important. People should get the hits that they're being projected to be given by Pokemon. You know, if Pokemon they don't advertise, but if you're getting boxes upon boxes that don't get hits, people are going to be very upset. But that's not the point that I want to bring home. I want to go ahead and talk about something else that most people don't talk about. And considering that my channel kind of focuses a little bit more on like the secondary market and the investing side, that's the side that I want to talk about, because it's the side that's not being talked about that I've seen online. Now, yes, pull rates are important. Now, if somebody is able to get a hold of this, and this was a very fortunate situation that this person was an idiot enough to try and sell, and if you look, they try to sell all those cards to one store. Like, no shit, they're gonna go ahead and call Pokemon, and they're gonna get those confiscated. But I want you to take a moment, and just think about this scenario instead. Say this person wasn't actually intelligent, and they decided, you know what? I have Gengars upon Gengars, and if you look at those stacks, those things are like, a standard deck 60 cards is this. You're probably looking, just tens of thousands of dollars in singles cards. I want you to take for a second and imagine this person goes on TCG Player, and they take that Gengar, and they post it for maybe 20 bucks cheaper than the highest person. One card. That card's gonna sell super fast. As soon as that card sells, guess what? They put another one of those Gengars up for $20 cheaper than the cheapest. And they just cycle through this and continue and continue and continue. That would have been the smart way to do this. And I'm not trying to give ideas to anybody, but my point that I want to drive home is that if this happens again, if anything like this happens, it has the possibility to destroy the singles market. And when you destroy the singles market, guess what? The rest of the secondary market is going to collapse. If these cards are able to get out and get to the point where, just imagine, those were hundreds, like, I have to assume like 300 of those, like, Gengars, and just, there's so many of those cards. If this person were to go on the secondary market and actually sell them there, I mean, I want you to take a second to imagine this, okay? I'm gonna do even a better example. I want you to take it, imagine it was Evolving Skies. Imagine it was Moonbryon. Imagine if somebody posted, like, you know, instead of $600, they put it for $550 or even $500. And just every week they're just putting 500, 500, 500. And with that, it just dilutes the entire card. And when people are going for this Moonbryon and they're seeing 500, now everyone else has to lower their price down. All of a sudden, we're getting down to 500 now on average, now $400 average for this card. And all of a sudden, because the singles is not very expensive, guess what happens to the sealed product? That goes down. Because now, when the card itself is only $400 for that best card, no one's going to want to pay $400 for a booster box to try and get it. And it's a point that hopefully, and it's unfortunate, situations like this can absolutely destroy the secondary market. And when you destroy the secondary market, and whether you want to believe this or not, you can go ahead and believe it or not, but without a secondary market, the product itself doesn't succeed. It just doesn't. People need to know that what they're buying has value later on. And the reason why sets like Evolving Skies are so high are because of the cards inside. It's not because people love Rayquaza or just love Umbreon that much where they have to have it. It's because the cards themselves are that expensive. And people want that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain sets that do well without high value cards, but those are just more fun to open. But when it's like, it's going to get to the point where if there's 300 Umbreon, the VMAX Alternate Arts online, people don't want to pay hundreds of dollars for it. They're going to be like, well, I'm going to wait till it goes down to $50. And if the highest card in the set's $50, guess what? That's going to tank the price of all the sealed product. Why would you go and buy a booster box when you could just buy the card itself? And it's kind of scary. It scares me. This is one of the things that can absolutely tank the secondary market and all investments. This is that black swan event, the thing that you never would imagine would happen. If the fact that it happened and just the quantity, again, look at the picture. Look how many cards are there. This isn't like, oh, someone got like one sheet and they managed to get like 10 of these cards. No, these are hundreds and hundreds of cards. Now imagine someone just picks up 50 cards, picks up 60 cards here. How often has this happened? Has this happened and somebody else is just smart about it? It's just a scary thing to think about, that somebody who, you know, either works at Pokemon or works in the factory could just take some of these cards, not even packs. They take the cards, the things that are actually worth a lot of money, especially the ones that this person picked up, and could just dish them out as they please. It's a really unfortunate thing that nobody's even talking about, because most people don't understand that the secondary market is actually really important to the longevity of a game. Because the people who are buying a lot of these sets also buy them because they have high value in them. And because, I mean, I heard a statistic that says that people, it's like 20%, 5%, I forget. It's like 20% or less of people who buy Pokemon cards play them. And so the rest are collectors. And if the cards are super cheap, they're not going to go and buy the product. They're just going to buy the card. So, and if it happens once, it could very well happen again. Maybe not to the severity that this Fusion Gate happened, but it's so hard, because how do you trust anymore? How do you know what's out there? And it scares me. It scares me personally that if something like this could happen, it could happen again. And if somebody is actually smart about it next time, I mean, it could just crash the market. And I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know how they could, just the trust, at least for me, when it comes to Pokemon, has just shot down. It's not going to change what I do, because I love Pokemon, I love the cards, and it's just, it just worries me. It worries me. There's no other way to say it. And if you're into the secondary market, it should worry you. Unfortunately, there's nothing we could do about it. But maybe we don't put $10,000 into to investments. Maybe we cut back a little bit, and that's hard to think that there's a way that this could actually collapse, because I had said in a previous video, there's no way that this could go down. This is one of the events that it could just tank the secondary market, and we just have to see what happens, and hopefully nothing like this ever happens again. We have to ever worry about it. I say we just stick to the status quo. It was a one-time event that we really saw something big, but if it happens again, I mean, we might have to rethink everything about this whole investing part of Pokemon, which is the whole channel.